Welcome to the Mortuary Masterclass, brought to you by the Champion Company, where preservation meets purpose, and every step is part of your journey to safer solutions. In this episode, which is part one of two, we break down how to tackle cases with edema using embalming chemicals, starting with a quick review of the embalming chemistry of edema, then looking at both traditional and newer techniques. We'll highlight what works, what doesn't, and share practical tips from lab and field tests to help you achieve better, more reliable results. Whether you call it dropsy, anasarca, ascites, hydrothorax, or hydroperitoneum, edema has always been a tough challenge for embalmers. Put simply, it's the buildup of excess fluid in the body's tissues and cavities, making embalming more difficult. Typically, if the body's moisture level is more than 10% above normal, with normal being around 55 to 65% of body weight, we consider it edema. Over the years, embalmers have tried to remove this excess moisture by injecting strong formaldehyde solutions to flush out water or by using salts like Epsom salts to draw it out. Both of these methods are based on the principle of osmosis. Osmosis, simply put, is the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane, driven by differences in pressure, kind of like how a sponge soaks up water until both sides even out. In the body, this pressure, called osmolarity, measures the concentration of particles in a fluid. Blood plasma usually sits around 275 to 295 millimoles per kilogram, while urine can range from very dilute at about 50 to highly concentrated at over 1,200 millimoles per kilogram. For embalmers, overcoming this osmotic gradient is key to effectively removing excess fluid in cases with edema. Understanding this sponge effect of osmosis helps explain why traditional embalming treatments for edema have focused on drawing water out of the tissues or locking it in place. Over the years, embalmers have relied on a few standard methods, including Epsom salts, strong hypertonic formaldehyde solutions, waterless embalming, and concentrated humectants. Let's take a closer look at how effective each of these techniques really is. First is Epsom salts, one of the oldest techniques in the book. Since the early days of formaldehyde arterial embalming, embalmers have been mixing strong solutions of Epsom salts, often 10 to 20% or more, with arterial fluid. The idea was that since a 6.77% solution matches the body's normal tissue osmolality, a stronger solution would draw water out of the tissues by osmosis. Some instructions in older manuals even suggested just dissolving as much Epsom salt in water as you could before adding the arterial chemical. In practice, though, results are mixed. Some embalmers swear by it, saying it noticeably reduces edema, while others are convinced it has little to no effect. Then there's the use of strong formaldehyde solutions, which are more widely practiced. This method takes advantage of formaldehyde's natural ability to dehydrate tissue, a downside to normal embalming that is useful here. Another method is called waterless embalming, though that name is a bit misleading. The idea is to eliminate added water from the injection solution, thinking it will help avoid introducing more moisture into already waterlogged tissues. But the reality is that even without added water, modern embalming fluids themselves still contain a significant amount of water. So the main benefit of this method really comes from the higher concentration of formaldehyde achieved, not from truly removing water from the process. Finally, some have tried injecting concentrated humectants, very high levels of moisture-attracting agents, in hopes of reversing their usual effect and pulling water out of the tissues instead of adding it. This idea, sometimes called the humectant rebound effect, even led to experimenting with syrups or glycerin alongside formaldehyde in early literature. In theory, these hypertonic humectant solutions would act like a sponge, drawing moisture outward, but in practice, results have been inconsistent and unpredictable. Our lab and field testing shows that several traditional treatments for edema cases, like Epsom salts, waterless embalming, and heavy humectants, don't consistently deliver the results embalmers expect. Take Epsom salts, for example. Chemically known as magnesium sulfate, it dissolves easily in warm water and has a long history as a dehydrating agent, laxative, and even for foot baths, which likely inspired its use in embalming. But in concentrated embalming fluids, it doesn't dissolve as well,